Hello, this is Attorney Mercy, and this is your Mercy Minute. Today we're going to talk about first offender treatment. Now, I get this question a lot. Well, Miss Mercy, what is the first offender? Can I use it? Well, I'm going to tell y'all. All right, in Georgia, okay, a defendant can request first offender treatment if they have never been convicted of a felony. All right. Never been convicted of a felony anywhere. All right. You can't just say, well, I ain't never had no felonies in Georgia. No. All right. It doesn't matter if the felonies in Georgia, in Michigan, in upstate New York. You can never have been convicted of a felony in order to use first offender treatment. And then you can only use first offender one time in your life. One time in your life. You can only use it once. It's a one and done. All right. Now you can use first offender on felonies as well as misdemeanors. All right. Now what that means is you request First Amendment treatment, and if it applies upon completion of your sentence, that means upon completion of your jail time, your probation, your parole, you've done the community service, you've done the classes, you paid the fine, you've met with your probation officer, you've done the test, you've done everything. Upon successful completion of your probation, of your sentence, then the defendant, the first offenders, are exonerated of guilt. Okay? And the charge stands discharged as a matter of law. What that means is, as soon as you successfully complete your sentence under the first offender statute, then this charge or charges are completely off your record. Can't be considered. Okay? That's why it's a good thing. Now, with regards to first offender, here's some things to remember. There are certain charges that are prohibited under the First Amendment treatment. So you can't, there's certain sex crimes that you can't use the first offender statute, certain crimes against law enforcement, trafficking persons, you can't use first offender, certain crimes against disabled or older people, you can't use first offender. And unfortunately, y'all, I'm sorry, in Georgia, you cannot use first offender on DUIs. That's why you should vote. Can't use it. You can't use first offender on DUIs. All right. So if you're charged, if you've never been convicted of a felony, and you never use your first offender, and your charges are not barred or prohibited by the first offender statute, you can request first offender treatment. And upon successful completion, guess what? The charge is off your record. Now, here's some more things to consider. So you can request first offender treatment if you plead. Right? If you are pleading, what ends up happening is the judge doesn't enter guilt in your case. He holds it, he or she holds it, and waits until you successfully complete the sentence. All right? And if you successfully complete it, guess what? It's out. All right? And if you don't, guess what? It's on your record. All right. So you can request first offender if you are pleading, but you can also request first offender treatment if you have a trial and you lose. Now, I said you can request it. Now, does it mean you may get it? I don't know. It is under the judge's sole discretion. All right. But don't be dismayed. Okay. If your attorney, if you have a trial and you lose and the charges are not barred by the first offender statute, and the charges, you haven't been convicted of a felony before and you've never used your first offender, your attorney can request first offender treatment. All right. Now, here's the thing. It's up to the judge if he or she applies it or not. But the judge can't just blankly say, nah. They have to give you a reason on why they're not applying first offender treatment to your case. So although although you've lost that trial, you can still request first offender status. Okay. Just try it. Okay, so first offender is a good thing. Another thing is that to remember how you lose your first offender status: probation revocations, parole violations. All right, you don't want those, because once you violate, the judge may absolutely put you back on probation. Of course, you're not going back to jail or you're not going back to prison, but guess what? You lose the protection of the first offender status, and now that particular charge is on your record. So if you are dealing with a probation revocation, a parole violation, or all the above, it would behoove you to get an attorney to make sure that your first offender status is intact. Okay? Sugarfoot, don't do it by yourself. Don't just be content on being back on good terms with your probation officer. We want you to have your first offender status still intact. All right? So remember, you can request first offender status for felonies as well as misdemeanors. Unfortunately, you can't use them on DUIs, but you can still request them if you qualify. All right, Sugarfoot, go on and request it. Okay, well, that's your Mercy Minute. Bye.